So right here I have a simple little scratch project. It's just a little clicker thing. So you see the cat right here, you click it, and then the number will go up. And once I reach 20 clicks, then the cat will turn red. And then the number goes up by 10. And once you click the green flag, then everything resets. So that's the simple little project right here. So I'm going to go and recreate this inside of a real game engine because Scratch is not a real game engine and it sucks. I'm just kidding, guys. Scratch is awesome, but Godot is still better. So I'm going to click New to create a new project right here. So first thing, I'm going to put it in whatever place I want. I'm going to call this clicker, because why not? And I'm going to click create folder. I'm going to keep it in compatibility mode, and let's create it. So I don't want to make a 3D game. I'm going to click on 2D right here. I'm going to click on create 2D scene. Okay. And I can just go ahead and save this as scene 1. I'm going to name the root node scene 1. I'm going to click Control S and just save it right here. So, feel free to follow along. If you want to follow along, then go to Editor Settings and go to, where is it? Completion, and then make sure Add Type Hints is on. So, I'm going to start by getting in the textures of the cat. So I'm going to create a new folder called Textures. Here it is. So I'm going to go into my Scratch project. Here are the textures for the cat. I'm going to export orange. I'm going to export red. So now I have those two downloaded. In Godot, all I have to do is just go to the downloads. I can find these two images that I just exported and then just drag it into here. So here I have an orange cat. I just dragged it in and it went ahead and created a sprite for me. So right now the cat is pretty blurry. So I'm going to go to click on orange. I'm going to go to the import settings and I'm going to set the scale to 3, which means that it's super big now. Okay, so there's our cat. If I click the run button, just select the current scene to start on. And now there's our cat. If I resize the window, then as you can see, it messes up. I don't know why anyone would want that, so I'm going to go change it. Go to window and set the mode to canvas items. So now once I resize the window, instead it will just have a black border, but it keeps the aspect. So yeah, I wish they had it set to canvas items by default, because that's the only good option. Anyways, I want to put the cat in the middle of the screen, and I can see over here in transform, if I set it to 0, 0, it actually puts it over here. And when I click play, it's just up there in the corner. So what I need to do is I need to find the viewport width, which is this number. And now I can go over here and set the position to that divided by 2. And then it puts the cat right here. And now I can go to the viewport height and do the same thing for the y-axis. Just do that divided by 2. And now the cat is perfectly in the center of the screen. Now I'm going to just scale it down a little. If I hold Shift, then it will keep the aspect. And if I hold Alt, then it will resize it from the middle. So I'm going to put it about right here. Okay, now the cat is in the center and everything's all good. But if I were to like resize the window super small, then the cat becomes all pixelated and weird. And the way to fix that, I go to the import settings and I click on generate for bitmap. So now it's going to have bitmaps, and I click on the sprite. You go over here to texture and set the filter to linear bitmap. So now once I make it smaller, it's going to be nice and smooth, so it's no longer all pixelated. So now that we've got everything looking all pretty, it's time to make our cat actually do something. So I'm going to create a new folder down here called scripts, which is going to contain all the scripts. If I click on the cat, I can click this to attach a script to it. I'm going to put it into the scripts folder, favorite it just in case. I can just call this cat.gd, and it's going to create it right here. And by the way, I want to name this cat, not orange. So yeah, just have that named to cat. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the default, and I'm going to put in an input event. Okay, so in here, I can print the event that's being passed through. So now every single time I move my mouse, it's going to print. Every time I click, every time I scroll, every time I press a key. Okay, so I want to actually add an action for clicking the mouse. So go to project settings, go to input map, and add a new action called click. And click the plus button. I can just choose left mouse button. So I can put an if statement here. If event.isActionPressed click, then we can print clicked. So let's see, every time I click, then it's going to say click. Good, so now I want to test if it's clicking on the cat. So there's a way to do that in Godot, which is this: if is pixel opaque to local get global mouse position, then it will print clicked on cat. So if I click play, then if I click, I'm clicking right now, so if I click like anywhere on the screen, it's not going to say it, it's not going to print anything. But once I click on the cat, then it prints clicked on cat. And it also works for transparency. So if I click like right here, then it's not going to print. So I'm clicking right here on the transparent areas of the image, and it doesn't count. It's only going to print it once I click on the cat. So now that's good. We can detect when it gets clicked. So what I want to do is once you click it, I want to make a number go up. So I'm going to create a variable clicks, because over here I called the variable clicks. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to set it equal to 0. And I can just improve this a tiny little bit if I put a colon right here. So basically that's just telling it that this is an integer. So now I can put, whenever the cat is clicked, just put clicks plus equals 1, which was going to increase the counter. And I can print clicks. So every time I click on the cat, as you can see, the number goes up. Yay! Yay, hooray! So, now it's time to add the little variable to the screen so you can see the clicks. So first, I want to just make this look a bit more true to the original. I'm going to add a white background. I can do that by adding in a canvas layer. I can name it white background. I'm going to set the layer to -128, which is the lowest possible layer, and just put in a color rect, make it full screen, and there you go. And I'm also going to lock it so that I can't accidentally drag it. So now I'm going to actually create the variable. I'm going to create a new canvas layer. I'm going to call it GUI. And now I'm going to insert a label. So here's the label right here. I'm going to type in hello. So you can't see the text because it's white. So I can go down here to theme overrides and check font color. So now it's black and I can see it. So I want to put it in the center of the screen. So I can click this to make it full screen. Now I want to set the text to be in the center, like that. And the text is now in the center of the screen. So if I hold Alt, then I can resize this from the middle. I'm going to make it about like this. Yeah, that's about good. And now if I hold Shift, I can drag it perfectly straight. I'm going to just drag it right here. Okay, so now I want to style this to look like this. I want to make it look like the variable watcher in Scratch. So I can just create a new style box flat. So the background color, to get the orange color, I can open the inspect element. I can click on just any color down here and then click the eyedropper. So now I can get this color. I can get the hex code right there. And now set it here. Now it's the orange color. Okay, now I want to set a corner radius, which is going to give it those nice rounded corners. And now set the border width to 2 on all sides. And now let's have that nice little gray border. Okay, now I can set the text back to white. And I'm just going to type in the number 0. And I'm also going to make the font bigger. What did I put? Like 10, 30, no, 20? I don't remember the number. 25? Is that good? Yeah, that seems about right. So yeah, now I have this thing right here, which looks just like a variable from Scratch. And if I change the text to like 1, I can change it to 2, change it to 100, 1000. If I make it a super big number, it's going to stretch. Yeah, I'm just going to make it 0 by default. So how can I get it to show the clicks right here? Okay. So I'm going to add, I'm going to call this the clicks watcher. And I'm going to make a new script. I can just call it clicks watcher. So I'll show one way to do this. So one thing you can do is inside of the process function, I can put text equals cat.clicks. And I'm going to put an underscore behind delta since I'm not using it. If I click play, oh, it's going to do an error. That's because the text is a string value, but the clicks is an integer value. So I can just convert this to a string by putting str. Okay, so now it's being converted to a string. So once I click the cat, as you can see, the number goes up. Hooray! Now, I can optimize this a little bit by, instead of updating the text every frame, I can just tell it when to update. So I'm just going to scratch this. I'm going to create a new function called update, and I'm going to have a parameter called string, and I'm going to make it output to void. Okay, so I'm going to make this set the text to the string parameter. So I can go ahead and test this function by putting update, fix this up, and yeah, now it works the same every time I click it. So now we have our own update function. So I want to call this function every time I click the cat instead of updating the text every frame. So I'm going to create a signal called update text. Whoops, I misspelled signal. And the parameter string. Okay, I still have signal misspelled. There we go. Make sure you spell signal right. So I'm going to connect this signal to the function. So on ready, I can update text, connect, update. That's all I have to do there. So in the cat sprite, after making the clicks go up, I can, for the clicks watcher, I can just emit signal, update text, and the parameter clicks. Well, actually, no, it went to convert that to a string. There. Okay, so now the variable updates every time I click the cat instead of updating every single frame. So it works the same way, but it's just a little more optimized. That's nice. So now I want to add the meow. So you might have noticed that whenever I clicked it, the cat would meow. It's very annoying, but I'm going to add it anyways. So I'm just going to export the meow sound, and I'm just going to drag it into here like that. Okay, so in the cat, I'm going to create a audio stream player. I can just call it meow, meow, okay, and just drag in the audio right there. So it's pretty loud. I'm going to set the volume down to like -30. That's better. Maybe -25. Nah, -30. That's good. And now all I have to do is just meow.play. So now every time I click the cat, it meows. So we're almost done with this project. There's just one more thing to add, which is the red cat. So once I get 20 clicks, it's going to turn into a red cat, and then the number starts going up by 10. So I have the red cat texture right here. Let me go ahead, because I don't think I imported this one right. So I can go ahead and test it by dragging the red cat onto here. Yeah, as you can see, it's tiny. I want to fix that. So I'm going to go to the import settings, generate bitmaps, and set the scale to 3, re-import. Okay, so now it's looking good. Let me just switch it back to the orange cat. Okay, so in Scratch, I was doing if the clicks is greater than 19, then switch costume to red. Now in Godot, I can actually put if clicks is greater than or equal to 20, then it can switch to costume. So there's no such thing as costumes in Godot. I mean, you could use an animated sprite 2D, which will come with its own separate frames you can put. But if you do this, you won't be able to detect the clicks with transparency. So I'm going to instead just update the texture here. So I can put texture equals preload red. And let's see if it works. So once I click 20 times, the cat turns red. Okay, just one more thing left to do, which is that I want to make the clicks go up by 10 once the cat is red. So I can say, actually no, I want to create a variable red equals false. So once the cat turns red, I'm going to set red to true. And now I can say if red equals false, then make the clicks go up by 1. But otherwise, make the clicks go up by 10. So the project is now done. I'm going to go in full screen. Well, kinda. I'm actually, let me just go here and set the window to exclusive full screen. So now I click play. Here's the project. So here's the cat. I click it. The number goes up. And once I reach 20, then the cat turns red. And now the number goes up by 10. So yeah, hopefully you learned something about Godot.